Good evening, everybody. We are back in the studio, sitting a little bit on pins and needles right now because the internet was not working for the last 30 minutes, but I think we're good to go. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me as usual. I'm going to flip this screen around real quick. Welcome back, everybody. Oh my goodness. Hold on here. So here we are. Let me just make sure we are live. Good to see everyone. Okay, awesome. So cool. Okay, it looks like some folks can hear me. Namaste. Good to see everyone. Awesome. All right, we are back. Let's see. Can hear you. Awesome. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate that. Connor's in the house. Nice, Connor. Good to see everyone. Holy smokes. Well, the deal is, basically, who knows? You know, the internet situation is always a little precarious, so it was not working for the last 30 minutes, but just in the last 3 minutes, I refreshed everything, closed out everything, and it looks like it's working. But if I do have a little lag time, let me know. In fact, right now, it looks like there's a little lag, but let me know. Yeah, make sure you can hear me. Awesome. Good to see everyone, and let us know where you are from. Good to see Phil from Tennessee. Tyler's in the house. Tropical Runner from Indiana. Oh, Tropical Runner, you're turning into a regular. I appreciate that. From Nepal, Haram, sorry I'm not going to say it correctly, but Haram, welcome from Nepal. Jules from Malaysia. Anthony is here. Good to see Anthony. Awesome. Daniel, awesome. What's up? Justin from Canada. Russell. Nice. Russell's in the house. Russell is a local runner here in Colorado. I would say a famous trail runner from Castle Rock, right, Russell? So that's awesome. Good to see you, Russell. Brian from Wisconsin. Anthony from North Carolina. Awesome. So cool. Okay, there's a little bit of lag according to Connor. That's good to know. I know it's giving me a little bit of trouble. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to close out of a couple things. Very interesting. Thank you for that update. I was also kicked out of Gmail today. I totally signed out completely, and I couldn't sign back in. And as you know, Gmail is used for YouTube. So anyway, let me know if it's still a little bit of a lag time. So someone is watching from Cancun. That's awesome. So let me just jump over here and check in, see how we're doing over here. Awesome. Scott from New Jersey. Oh, Scott, I owe you a phone call. I've just been busy, Scott. So, okay, can you hear me? Because it looks like it's lagging on my end. Let me just do this guy real quick. Ooh. Okay. Interesting. It looks like it's really choppy right now. Hold on. Let me see why this might be happening. Okay, let me just do a quick test. Let's see here. So strange. All right, let me just double check why this might be happening real quick. I know, I'm seeing the lag as well on my end, so thank you for bearing with me for 1 second. Let me just figure out, do a quick little test here. Why it might be lagging just a little bit. 1 second. Okay, so you can hear me, but there's a little bit of you can hear me, but the video is laggy. Yeah, strange, because it's interesting. So if you're familiar with internet speed, basically, right now, we have a hardline connection, and I just did a test, and it was saying 130 megabytes per second upload, which is pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good, so I'm a little surprised as to why it might be happening. And let me just do one more thing real quick here, and see if we can't fix this. Interesting. Okay. Well, we might just have to keep going, but let me know in the chat if you cannot hear me. Okay. Very cool. Well, glad you can hear me. Sorry about the video. Not sure what we're going to do about that. Okay, you're probably wondering. That's right. Like you're probably wondering I ran in the Hoka Carbon Rockets today. That's right, the Hoka Carbon Rockets. I have now put basically 48 miles into the Carbon Rockets, so if you've been waiting for a full review on the Carbon Rockets, it will be coming very soon, so thank you for your patience with that. And basically, I continue to be testing the UCAN Electrolyte Mix, and yes, tonight, what we're going to talk about is electrolytes. Going to do my best on the science side of thing, and then also work on the, we're going to talk about racing tactics. And let me just toss up one thing here real quick. So, how did your run go today? Let me know. I'm just going to do a quick speed test here for the internet one more time, but how did your run go? What did you do? I managed to get in a nice long run, as actually I've seen Russell use that tag on Strava as well. So a nice good runch, 16 miles. But yeah, how did your run go? And where did you go? How far did you go? Was it a workout? Was it a mountain session? Maybe hill repeats? Actually, it's been really neat to see on DeMoor Global Running, everybody start racing, especially watching some of the high schoolers with their track sessions or their track season starting. So, anyway, let's see here. Okay, so I'm just checking the comments here. Yeah, really, really strange as to why it is just going so slow. But you know what? We're just going to keep trying here. And I think it's the internet in the area. You know, sometimes it's hit or miss with respect. Sometimes you can't control everyone around you. It is 7 o'clock, so... All right, so Chris did a 5K in Manitoba, running at altitude, did some Green Mountain loops, getting that vert. Oh, gotta love that vert. Oh man, Green Mountain. Is there any mud left on Green Mountain or snow even, really? Let us know how the Green Mountain situation is going. A 9-mile prep for weekend half marathon for Walter. Anthony got an easy recovery, just bopping along. That's what I like to hear, Anthony. Phil, 90 minutes, putting one foot in front of the other. Nice. Jules had a 10K. Hey, just getting a 10K in, that's all that matters, Jules. It doesn't matter how it turned out, just as long as you're one foot in front of the other. Scott got a pre-dinner run, just 4 miles, usual mall route from the house. That's awesome. Mike, 3 miles after power yoga. Sweet. Russell got the Ridgeline Trail Loop with the crew. That's awesome. So, Connor, a nice 3-mile recovery, but I have a little Achilles flare-up from yesterday's track meet. Ooh, sorry to hear that. That's never fun. And in case you weren't there on Monday night, I interviewed my teammate from the University of Colorado, Andy Wacker, and he's actually suffering a little bit right now from an Achilles injury. Achilles are tough. Your Achilles tendon is obviously really important, and so, yeah, gosh, I wish, if you haven't seen it, Andy, toward the end of the interview, did give some pretty good tips for how he's dealing with his Achilles injury. So, Connor, maybe you were there, but if you weren't, you might want to check that out. And, okay, let's see. Daniel spent my run time shopping for shoes. Nice. That's awesome. Let's see here. Let me just do a quick refresh. Jump back in here, and thank you for your patience with the audio and the video. Maybe a little bit of lag there. Who knows what's going on? And so, Carl did an easy 40-minute beacon day. Gosh, cheers to a beacon day. Cheers to a beacon day. I always love a good beacon day. Okay. Yeah, so... Okay, so yeah, I'm still getting over 100 for the upload. So why it is struggling, I'm not sure. We're just going to have to keep plowing along. Does that sound good? So if let me just pull up my notes here for tonight. And okay, quick update on emails. Basically, I'm getting a lot of emails these days, and I love the emails, but I am realizing I don't have enough time to reply to all of them. As I always say, there's only 24 hours in a day, and so it just gets a little difficult to do the daily vlog, do my normal work, take care of the family, and answer everyone's emails. So what I am thinking is, nice, Connor, good deal. So what I am thinking is, if you're emailing me with specific training questions or coaching questions, what I want to do is, what I have to do, I think, is basically reply to you with a generic answer and invite you to the live streams. Okay, am I back here? 1 second. Am I back? Am I back? Okay. 1 second. 1 second. Oh no. Hold on. Hold on. It says it's good. Oh no. Shoot. One second. Thank you for your patience. 1 second. Oh. Okay, maybe. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. It's so crazy. I know, it's like everybody might be using up the bandwidth. Let me know if you can hear me. I think we might just have to, basically, I'll just eliminate the video and we'll just do audio because it sounds like everyone can hear it. Sorry, I tried to do a little reboot, but I think we're just going to have to do audio. Let me know if you can. Okay, audio is still good. Who knows? It's so crazy. I basically just reduced the bit rate and the transfer from the camera to the computer, and it says the health is good of the live stream, but obviously there is still a lag time, so that is okay. We are just going to we're just going to plug ahead here. So all right, basically what I was saying is, I think my new strategy, and I've been thinking about this for a while now, is that I can't respond to every email. There's just too many in like a well thought out way. So the new strategy moving forward is email me your questions, pitch me your vlog ideas, but what I'm going to do is basically invite you to the live streams. So we'll have more people here. It'll be fun, but that way everybody can hear my answer to your your specific half marathon questions, or your specific 10K questions, or maybe you're wondering like what nutrition to eat leading up like 3 days before a 50K. Whatever the case may be, that is going to be the game plan moving forward. So basically, we're gonna keep moving on here. Thank you for persevering despite the video not working. Okay, moving on to a few quick trivia questions before we dive in. At which university did Gatorade launch? Where was Gatorade invented? And bonus points for the year it launched. Go in the chat. I will monitor to see who gets it right first. And by the way, thank you for being here. So let's see here. Is the video. Boom. Anthony gets it. Sorry for the silence there. Anthony gets it. University of Florida. University of Florida. Their mascot is the Florida Gators. So Gatorade. Gatorade. I believe it was 1965, but I'm seeing 1979 here from Trevor. But don't. I think they started tinkering with the chemistry behind Gatorade back in 1965. Okay, so it looks like folks can see me perhaps or hear. So this is good. So very good. Okay, we're just gonna give it a. We're just going to keep plugging away here. So next trivia question. Basically, what is considered the most important electrolyte for racing a marathon? And obviously this is connected to tonight's topic about electrolytes. What is the most important electrolyte for racing a marathon? Let's see here. Who's gonna get it? Who's gonna get it? If you can even see me. I don't even know. I don't know if you can hear me. I don't know if you can see me, but I appreciate you being here. That's right. Oh, potassium. That's right. Under construction. Good work. Potassium is considered the most important electrolyte to replenish during a marathon. Obviously, that's right, potassium. They're all very important, but based on the research I've done, potassium is considered the most important to try to replace during a Test 1, 2, 3. 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 Oh man, oh man, oh man, come on now. We don't give up, don't give up, don't give up, don't ever give up in this life. Don't ever give up in this world. Oh my goodness. Listen, who knows? Who knows? Everyone is home from work, and so the internet in the neighborhood is not doing so well. But basically, I'm not holding my breath that this is going to continue to work, but we will continue to persevere here and try. All right, we're just going to keep going. So what I was about to ask, Okay, so it's still lagging, but at least it sounds like you can hear me. So the third trivia question before I got cut off there by the technology was, at the 1924 Paris Marathon, what fluid was offered to help the runners complete the 26.2 miles? That was the third trivia question. I'm not sure if you guys actually heard it. So let's see here. Oh man, it is just struggling. The internet is struggling. There's just no other way to say it. No other way to say it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see here. Let's just see here. Try that. So, all right, everyone. I love you. It was wine. I'm back. It was wine. Who knows what's going on, but it was wine. Offered at the Paris Marathon. Can you imagine racing a marathon, putting back some red wine, and continuing on your way? They must have been just falling all over the place. First of all, when you're running a marathon, you get a little loopy as it is. And then combining some wine? Oh, man. So anyway, that was the liquid offered at the 1924 Paris Marathon. Marathon. All right, it looks like we might have a little bit of, you guys might be able to see me right now. All right, going to take a quick drink of water here, and one more trivia question. Okay, here we go. Last trivia question. In Kipchoge's and the other two gentlemen, the gentleman from Eritrea and then from Kenya, Ethiopia. I apologize. I forget. I should know their names. But Kipchoge was the gentleman from Kenya who got the closest to breaking 2 hours in the marathon in 2017 in Monza, Italy, when they did that loop around the F1 track in Monza, Italy. And what was he drinking during that breaking 2 attempt? All right, that's the fourth trivia question. I will monitor here the chat over here. All right, let's see who can. This is a little bit of a. If somebody gets this right off the bat, I'll be very impressed. Oh, boom, Michael, you get it. I think it's spelled. I don't know how to pronounce it. Morten, Maurten. I have never tried that. Let me know in the chat if you have experience with Morton. Good job, everybody. Nice work. Okay, more people knew that than I expected. Good work. You are more on top of it than I am. And so here's the deal. Here's what's going on. Basically, I am getting ready for Cleveland, and I am trying to figure out how to fuel at the aid stations in an ultra race. So for all the new subscribers, just so you know, this is going to be my first marathon, and I'm trying to figure out, like, I've been doing ultra racing, ultra marathons, so like 50Ks, 50 milers, even attempted a 100 miler. I've been doing that for the past 4 years, basically. And at the aid stations in those races, it's very, very relaxed. Like, you're not going through the aid stations very quickly. You usually stop, you take some drinks, you eat some food, like real food, like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, a banana. You'll eat real food. I like to put back some peanut M&Ms if it's toward the end of the race. But in a marathon, it's a much quicker proposition, if you know what I mean. You are moving through these aid stations. I hope to be moving through them. Well, if I'm racing around 520s, I'll probably slow down a little bit and, need to get some fuel into me, whether it's now, for better or worse, at the aid stations in Cleveland, they are going to be offering Powerade. And I don't know quite how I feel about that. Like, Powerade is, pretty sugary based. So I'm trying to practice. You saw me in yesterday's vlog practicing with a Powerade. So I think what I basically am getting at is I would love to lean into your experience in the chat if you have, and I've read a lot of your comments on the vlog from 2 days ago about aid stations and fueling at aid stations. But if you have more ideas, more tips, more tricks in the chat, let us know, like, what you do to get through the aid stations in a marathon efficiently, all right, while still getting what you need, the electrolytes to get what you need into you. So let's see. Okay, so that's good to know. Don't take goo or gels with Powerade. That's probably good to know. It's like the bottom line, whatever I end up doing, I need to practice ahead of time to make sure my stomach is used to whatever I'm putting into me. But it has been said, okay, here's another cool thing. In the Breaking 2 attempt, the gentleman from Eritrea, oh my goodness, I can't believe I can't remember his name. Zerzenze, something, it's a little difficult to pronounce, but Zerzenze, he I think he either has the world record for the half marathon, or he's like the second fastest of all time at the half marathon. And basically, it's something ridiculous. If somebody can look it up real quick, that'd be amazing. And he's from Eritrea. But his marathon time was very slow. It was like 2:11. So he was like a 58-minute. I'm just gonna put that out there roughly. 58-minute half marathon guy. We're talking really fast. But he didn't know that he was supposed to be taking in electrolytes and liquids into his body during a marathon race. So his half marathon was incredible. Zerzenze. Yes, David, that is correct. Zerzenze, something like that. So he was really fast at the half marathon, but a 2:10, 2:11 marathon time is pretty slow if you're a 57, 58 half marathon guy. Does that make sense? So he didn't really realize he needed to be taking in liquid and electrolytes in a marathon. I think that's just fascinating, and I don't know what he's done since then in the marathon, if he's kind of figured out the nutrition. 58:23, nice. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, but it was broken recently. Yes, I remembered. I knew he was okay. So he's the former world record holder in the half marathon. So basically, okay. Let me just jump over here. Electrolytes. They're really important. Some examples are magnesium, calcium, potassium, sodium, and basically it's an electrically charged mineral in our body, and it helps our body basically move fluid through our body. So I'm just going to read some examples here. It can help charge our cells, like on a, and I'm not a scientist, but on a molecular level, electrolytes help charge our cells. It helps our muscles contract and relax. How it does that exactly on a molecular level, don't ask me, but that's pretty neat. And then it also, as I already mentioned, it helps move fluid throughout our body. And as we also talked about in the trivia, it's been said that potassium is basically the most important electrolyte to focus in on. So in this UCAN electrolyte mix, which I'm testing out right now, and quite a few elite marathon runners use UCAN. It looks like this one has 100 milligrams of potassium. I think that's pretty good based on the research I've done. So that's good. And then 300 milligrams of sodium, no sugars, so that's interesting, and also no calories. And I guess I will bring that up right now. Basically, I've heard some ultra runners, so shout out to all the ultra runners out there, that they actually do not, like they actually prefer a mix for their drinks during an ultra race that actually does have calories, because you're going for so long that you need to have more calories to burn. So I think that's a kind of a unique situation difference between the marathon world and the ultra marathon world. So I'm experimenting with this UCAN, and let's see here. Let me just pull up over here a couple more thoughts. So as our body temperature rises if you're racing in a really hot or humid climate, obviously that's going to impact you. Or just, if you're racing a marathon, your body temperature is going to rise. So in order to cool your body, what happens is more blood starts to collect around the pores of our skin, so that the pores can basically open up, dilate, and which allows us to sweat, which begins the cooling down process for our bodies. But so you want to really monitor, like, for example, this is crazy. I ran a 10K at the Big 12 Championships in Waco, Texas at 9 p.m. And we were, it was crazy. Like, I was a walk-on that year. I was not expected to do well. I basically was in like 6th place in the 10K at the Big 12 Championships, but then with like 2 laps to go, myself, Brent Vaughn, another very successful runner at the University of Colorado, like, we basically turned into skeletons, and we were wobbling like the last 2 laps around the track, and he ended up going to the hospital to get an IV because he was so, I don't know if it was dehydration or if it was he had lost so much electrolytes, but so anyway, I bring up electrolytes because it's obviously very important when we're getting ready for a marathon race. Okay, what questions do you have or thoughts in the chat about electrolytes? I don't want to spend all night on electrolytes, but I'd be curious to hear if you do have any thoughts on electrolytes. That would be awesome. And let me just pull up here real quick to see if this is still streaming for you guys. Holy smokes, I don't even know. Making sure it's still streaming. And thanks for your patience once again. Let's see here. Yeah, Tanner, it's really struggling, just so you know. It sounds like you can hear me, but basically the video is almost non-existent. Why that is happening, we don't really know, because it's not different than any other evening. Just so you know, I'm trying to reduce the bit rate so that it is basically, so it's basically a clear image for all of you, but, it's struggling a little bit. There's no other way to say it. Yeah, audio is still good. That's awesome. So we could just turn this into a podcast if we wanted. So thanks for persevering here. But yeah, any thoughts or questions with around it's if you guys stick around, I will continue to I'll continue to try and do this for you. So if not, we can move on to racing tactics. Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I think I lost everyone for a second. Oh, man. So, good to see everyone. Holy smokes. Let's see. It says it's streaming at... Yeah, maybe that's a little low. Says it's streaming pretty well, but bottom line, Okay, good to see everyone. Oh man, what a world. What a world. Okay, sweet. So, racing tactics. Okay, I'm just reading through some of the chat. Since it's been such a rough night on the internet front, we're going to focus in on racing tactics. And listen, I'm really excited for Cleveland, and a couple people have offered to come hand me bottles along the course. I looked at the rules on the Cleveland website, and I didn't see any rules against that. So I thank you for everybody that offered to do that. Basically, like drinking out of a cup versus drinking out of a really nice small bottle. It would be nice to have a really nice small bottle as far as just quick transfer, quick drink, like making sure it all gets in me. I did hear somebody comment, I read yesterday, somebody actually carries a straw in their ear or in their hat, and then whenever they come to an aid station, they pull the straw out, stick it in the cup, squeeze the top of the cup, and then basically they said it kind of they make sure they get as much into their mouth as possible rather than splashing it all around them, all over them. I thought that was a pretty creative idea. I don't anticipate myself using a straw, but I guess I would say, like, if the Cleveland Marathon allowed people to hand bottles to runners, I'd be very open to that. Giving, a couple people some bottles, giving 2 or 3 people spots along the way, knowing that if something happened, I could always go to the aid station. So anyway, I don't know. We will see. We will see what happens in Cleveland. Okay, moving on to racing tactics. Basically, oh man, tonight's been a little strange, so we're gonna do our best here to work through, and we might have to pick up on a couple of these topics in the future as well. But here is, I think, like, racing is, that's why we work so hard, right? That's why we train so hard for months and months sometimes without racing. And then when we get to the starting line, it's like, okay, all this work, it's time to finally, so yeah, it was Kurt. Thank you, Kurt, for that idea. Basically, Kurt is in the chat, and he thought of this idea. A couple other people mentioned it as well in the vlog a couple days ago about the bottles along the way. So we'll see what happens, Kurt. We'll keep communicating via email about that idea. But so for racing tactics, we work so hard, and then you want to eliminate as many mistakes as possible on race day so that you can reach your full potential, and maybe you're striving for a PR, maybe you're just, you're trying to finish your first marathon. So there's obviously very different, ability levels out there listening and watching this YouTube channel. And so I guess I do want to talk specifically to the high schoolers out there, if there's any listening, or the college students. So I want to talk, and this can apply to the marathon and half marathon as well. But basically, I want to walk you through how I would run a mile if I was in high school. All right? So good to see you, everyone. Oh, that's good to know, Russell. You think it's common and okay? I might have to do some more research. But so basically, if I was racing a mile or a 1500, off the starting line, I would get out the first 100 meters, not in the lead. I would like to be top 6, okay? Maybe 7th, but preferably top 6, and get to the inside corner. Somebody did the math for me, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe I remember the number 8 or 9 meters. If you are running in the second lane for an entire lap around a track, and if you're really good at math, you could probably figure this out pretty easily. But basically, if you run in the second lane or the third lane, let's just say the second lane for an entire lap, the distance that you are adding to your race is pretty significant. For some reason, the number 8 or 9 meters is jumping out at me. I don't know if that's exactly correct. If somebody knows, let us know in the chat. So, if I was a high schooler or a college student, I would, off the starting line, the first 100 meters, I'd be in the top 6, and I would make sure, no matter what, I am on the rail. And I wouldn't really care if I was boxed in, because it's the first lap. You just get in there, you tuck in, and you sit, and you save your energy. Now listen, if you're in a league of your own, and you are at a very high talent level, thank you, Luke, for that super chat. You're the best, and you're amazing. Okay, so Frank is thinking maybe 5 meters. So that might be right. And listen, 5 meters is 5 meters. It's like it's more than no meters. So basically, I would get on the rail and then I would draft, okay? So if I'm in 6th position, let's say there's 15 guys in the race or 15 ladies in the race, I want to be in the top half, and then I'll sit there for probably, depending on what everybody else is doing around me, but probably 2 laps. So that'd be 800, and let's say, so at the 1K mark, so 1,000 meters, that's where I would begin to listen to everybody around me, listen to everybody's breathing, listen to how my body is feeling, and then begin to pick people off. Again, you gotta monitor how everyone else is doing around you. But basically, for me, I always with 600 meters to go, not 400 meters to go. A lot of people wait for 400 meters. For me personally, I don't have that crazy kicking speed, so the last, let's say, 200 meters of a race. So I would actually, I actually start to make my move, even though it's a gentle move. It's not my sprint. It's a gentle move at 600 meters to go. And then I'll hold that for another, okay, so now, so another 350 meters. And then for me personally, because I don't have that crazy kicking speed, I would then, at 250 meters to go, so basically halfway down the back stretch, that's when I would start my kick, only because I know, again, I just can't outkick people very often. If I outkick someone, it's because they're not very fast, because I just don't have that crazy top line speed. Okay, so that's how I would race a mile or a 1500 roughly if you're in college. Okay, let me just take a quick drink here. I'm running out of water in the studio. And thank you for being here, by the way. So that's one race strategy. And then I'm still working out my marathon race strategy. And let me just tell you all one more story. about racing tactics and racing strategy, and then I'll jump into the chat and answer your questions. Basically, at the NCAA championship for cross country in 2007, or was it? No. Sorry, 2005. 2005. It was in Terre Haute, Indiana. I believe it was 2005. Yeah, it was in Terre Haute, Indiana, and basically it was my former coach, Mark Wetmore. He was very in tune with what was going on around him, and everything from the weather to the ground condition to the just to everything, to what spikes we were wearing on race day at the NCAA championships. And so what he did, he would wake up extra early on race day and basically go monitor the weather and see what was happening and go check out the course to see if it was really muddy or not. And he knew that if it was a muddy day at the end for a 10K at the championships, he knew that because of the hype of the day, the excitement of the day, people were going to go out fast. It's almost inevitable. It's very difficult to hold yourself back at the NCAA championships. But Mark made very, very specific race strategy for us on that day, where he basically said, you are not allowed to go out fast, because guess what? These people, these other racers, they are going to come back the last, I think he said, the last 3K. Maybe it was 4K, but I think he said, so if it's a 10K race, so basically at 7K, watch out. You're going to start rolling people up if you are patient in these conditions, in muddy conditions, because your legs, when you're in mud, you're working extra hard, and he knew that, and so what ended up happening is we won the NCAA championship. Like they have live results as the race is going on, and I think the team was in fourth, and then we just worked our way up the pack, and we're talking. 300 runners or 250 to 300. It was a lot of 300 runners approximately. So you just start working your way up the pack and working your way up the pack. Okay, that's my last story about racing tactics. Now I would love to jump into some of your questions. And again, thank you for your patience with the internet. Basically what happened was I actually have really fast internet. I have fiber optic internet, but tonight it decided not to work. Why that is, who knows? So let's see here. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm actually doing another speed test right now, but you ask your questions in the chat, and I will get to as many of them as possible about racing strategy, racing tactics. Let's see. I have 100 megabyte download, so that's pretty good. Just so you know, I am doing speed test right now on the internet. Who knows? And then it looks like about 80 for upload. So yeah, 80 is definitely a little slow right now, but what are you going to do? Nope, 100. There you go. 100 for the upload. So we're trying, ladies and gentlemen. We are trying. Okay, let's see here. So it looks like Simon had a question. Let's see. So Simon, maybe you could ask your question here in the chat. Simon, I did see your email come through, and you're exactly correct. I did not have time to reply to it. And I think that's going to have to be the strategy moving forward. Is I will have to basically answer people's emails in the live stream, because they just keep piling in, and I love it and I appreciate it, but there's just a lot. So, oh my goodness. Thank you, Mary Froggy, for the $10 super chat donation to help with shipping the shoes. Oh, I appreciate that. And on that note, just so you know, the next shoe giveaway is going to be April 1st. That's right, Monday, April 1st. This is not an April Fool's joke. Monday, April 1st, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. We're going to do at least 10 shoes giveaway, and we're going to do a lot of shoes, so it's going to be fun. Mark your calendars, Monday, April 1st. I'll make sure the internet is fast for that night. Okay, let's see here. Colin asks, before the Cleveland Marathon, do you know what you want to eat the night/day before? So, Colin, that's a great question. My strategy, Colin, at least for ultra races. Now, marathon might be a little different, but I do like pasta. But what I do, Colin, is I like pasta 2 nights before and even 3 nights before. The night before, I definitely, it'll probably be pretty simple. It'll probably be a meat, rice, and veggies, you know. Maybe not a big plate or bowl of spaghetti. I'll do that like maybe 2 nights before, 3 nights before, because I like to make sure I can digest everything. But the night before, I'll eat, but I'm not going to overeat. You know what I mean? You don't want to wake up on race day just kind of feeling like, oh, I feel a little bloated or just a little bit of stomach cramp. So it's a balance, Colin. So good question, Colin. Okay, there's a lot of questions coming in. Okay, I'll do my best here. Let's see here. Trevor, in your road marathon, are you going for a goal time or is position more important to you? So Trevor, I am trying to qualify for the Olympic trials. So I need to run under 2:19. So that's basically 5:18 per mile. So that's the goal. All right, that's the goal. That's the goal. That's all of the training I am doing in the threshold runs and the interval workouts that I'll be starting this week. It all is leading toward that goal. So good question, Trevor. If I end up toward the front of the pack, that's awesome too. All right. So let's see here. Tom wants me to talk about marathon race strategy. All right, Tom, I'm going to do it. I wasn't sure if I would have time, and I don't think True Love is listening tonight, but if you are listening, True Love, I could use some water in the studio, but that's okay. I've got a little bit of water left. Hold on. So basically, Tom, I have heard the strategy about negative splitting. So you run the first 13 miles a little slower so that you can run the second half a little faster, right? So you save your energy those first 13 miles. But Tom, I must say, I've never had a lot of success late in a race. If I'm trying to PR or I'm trying to if I'm trying to PR or hit a specific time like I am in Cleveland, whether you run, I hear True Love inside. I wonder if she's bringing me water. I have never had success negative splitting, Tom, just so you know. So what I'm going to do, Tom, I'm going to get out fast the first mile, really the first half mile, just to make sure I don't get caught up in the crowds. Now, not crazy fast, but I am going to get out of the crowd so I don't get tripped up or something. And then I'm going to settle in after that first, let's just say, first K. Settle in, calm down, chill out, glance at my watch, look at my pace on my watch, see what the splits are, and then come through the first mile and just be like, okay, that was good. Maybe a little fast. Let's just back it off just a little bit. Let's just lock it in pretty early to the pace that I want to run. And Tom, you also have to think about the weather. So if it's a hotter day, you might have to hold off a little bit at the beginning so you don't deplete yourself too early. And then Tom, basically what I plan to do now, Tom, I'm still like 2 months away, but I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to most likely chill out till about mile 10. And then at 10, so not halfway, but about mile 10, I'm just going to check, and of course I'll be monitoring my pace up until then, but then at mile 10, I'll probably start to pick it up. if I can't, you know, if everything's going well, I'll be like, okay, I'm feeling okay. Let's just start to dabble a little bit here, just a teeny tiny bit. Then that'll take me to the half marathon and so forth. So anyway, that's at least the first half, Tom. Good question. We'll get more into this soon. Okay, moving on here. Kurt says, I'm going to send you some Morton in the mail with the shoes I told you about to try out. Kurt, you're the best. Thank you. I would love to try it. I would love to. Right now, I am enjoying UCAN, but I would love to, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but that would be amazing. Okay. Jordan asked, do I want my kids to become runners? Not necessarily, Jordan. Not necessarily. Like, it would be fun if they wanted to. Like, I'll go play basketball with them, or you know, football. Football. I'm not, you know, football is football. You got to watch the head injuries. But Jordan, it'll be interesting to see what they choose to do. My dad was a runner. I'm a runner. So it'll be, yeah, whatever makes them happy is what is my thesis on life. You know what I mean? Okay. Ever try PR lotion / sodium bicarbonate lotion? I have not. I think I've heard of that before. I don't actually even really know what it is, but good question. I have not used it. Okay, Greg asks, what strategy and thoughts do you implement to prevent yourself from getting caught up in the race start hype and starting out too fast? That's a good one, Greg. So here's a good, Greg. This is good. Basically, Greg, what you could ask yourself is, do you like to be chased or do you like to chase? Personally, for me, I kind of like to chase. Now, at a certain point in a race, if I do take the lead, which I do every now and then in races where I'll get into first place, that is very fun, very exhilarating. It does give you a boost. But I must say, Greg, at the start of a race, yeah, there's a lot of excitement. Sometimes there's music. Music can really make your brain kind of go outside itself. So you got to watch yourself a little bit if you're a music listener, making sure that you're not going too fast. In fact, I would recommend maybe, oh man, I don't want it. Well, I think wearing music in a marathon race, it can be good, but at the same time, I like to listen to my sensory data. So my breathing, especially, of course, my breathing and even just how much like I'm sweating and just listening to everything that my body is telling me. And I think music can kind of distract you from those things, so you're not really honed into to what's happening right in that moment. So anyway, good question, Greg. And then as far as not getting caught up in the race start hype, I would say, Greg, if you like to chase people, use that to your advantage. Like, let people go out. Let them go out. So guess what? At mile 6, at mile 8, at mile 10, you can start to chase them down. Like, I love chasing people down. If they went out too fast and they're starting to come back to me. So anyway, that might be one way to approach it. And keeping in mind, Greg, that everybody hits the wall in a marathon at mile 18 or 20, approximately. Everyone hits the wall. Like, everyone is hurting by mile 20. Sometimes I've heard people can push it off to mile 22, but everyone's going to be hurting. So just know, like, you just don't want to go out too fast is the bottom line. So good question. I could go on and on about that. Okay, let's see here. Can you guys, that's right, Chasing Joe Gray. It looks like the video might be working a little bit now. This is good news. Okay. Everyday life. Who knows what is going on with the internet? Let's see here. So Logan asks, I'm racing the mile and 2 mile this Saturday. Any advice for running 2 races in one day? Logan, good question. I would say stay off your feet in between the races. Don't go, chasing a Frisbee or, so stay off your feet. You might want to stick your feet up on a wall just to help drain a little bit of that lactic acid. And then Logan, I would say start your warm up a little earlier for the second race. So you just make sure your legs don't get too stiff. You just want to make sure you're well warmed up. Good question, Logan. Tom asks, running Boston. Oh, yeah, Tom, that's awesome. Any advice for your taper? Tom, I would say for your taper, so for Tom, for me, I usually start the very beginning of my taper 3 weeks out from a peak race. So Boston is, yeah, it's basically exactly 3 weeks. Monday was 3 weeks out, I do believe. April 15th, I think it is. So you're right on par. I would begin to draw back your volume, start cutting back your volume. I like the 10 to 12 day window, Tom, for really starting to drop the mileage and continue to work a little bit on foot speed and, foot speed, like basically sharpening up. So doing some strides into your training. And I don't know what you're doing for training, but that's kind of my rule of thumb is 3 weeks out and then 10 to 12 days out. And then 3 to 4 days out, I'll really start to freshen up where I'll continue to run, but it'll be pretty light on the running front. So good question, Tom. Okay, let's see here. Yes, okay. Jared says, one thing is guaranteed, you're going to get your arse kicked on your first marathon. That is true. Yep. Let's see. Running at altitude asks, how long is your warm-up run on race day for a half marathon? That's a good question, running at altitude. I would say it would be about 1.5 miles to 2 miles. So I would like to get a warm-up, but you also want to save your legs, you know? So I would say 1.5 miles-ish. Maybe, 1.5 miles and then some strides. So totaling maybe 1.75 miles. I know that's very specific, but I'm probably more of the opinion for a longer race. You might as well just save your legs. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. 1.5 miles to 2 miles. Good question. Let's see here. That's right. Okay. Let's see. Tanner asked, do I have any special stretches for sore muscles? Tanner, all I can say is foam roller. Gotta do the foam roller. Good question. Mary asks, when will the t-shirts be for sale? Soon. We're setting up the online store right now, Mary. So just so everyone knows, we're developing some t-shirts right now. And so they're in the works. The design is done. Everything's done. But now we have to set up the back end. It's a lot. So basically, you have a place to order them. Good question, Mary. Chris asks, what are you doing for pre-race accommodations? We have a hotel room 2 blocks from the starting line. Chris, good question. I'm excited about that. Walk out the hotel, literally start jogging from the lobby, and just go straight to the starting line. So that's kind of my strategy I guess that's a good strategy for a race day. Just eliminate as many variables as possible that could go wrong, like, your Uber driver gets a flat tire, or who knows what it could be. So, good question, Chris. Let's see. Okay, I'm just seeing if I missed any other questions. So, Tom asked, do you check your heart rate at all on your... No. I don't think, during the race, Tom, I don't check my heart rate. Nope. I am not a heart rate trainer, nor racer. I do, I know some people love training with a heart rate. For me, again, it's kind of an extra variable that I like to listen to the entire body, my legs, my breathing, my head, everything. And heart rate could play a role. I just have never been a heart rate trainer. So, what's your next race after Cleveland? That's from Colin. Basically, I'll be doing some small, the next race will be a 10K at the GoPro Mountain Games in Vail, Colorado. So it's a 10K. I raced Joe Gray there last year, took second to him again. So I'm sure he's going to be there again, so that's going to be fun. But the next peak race, Colin, is going to be the Pikes Peak Ascent in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Trevor asked, do I ever run without a shirt? Did it today. It was 75 degrees in Denver today. No shirt. Oh man, there's nothing like running without a shirt. You got to put sunscreen on. Be careful. Don't want to get a sunburn. No skin cancer allowed. But I'm a pretty big fan of trying to stay as cool as possible during a run. So yeah, I'll even sometimes race without a shirt. I'll just pin the number on my leg. I know it's a little crazy. All right, Jordan asks, what do you do to stay mentally strong when trying to finish a race? Jordan, I like to offer up the suffering for people, and I know that might sound a little strange, but like I will pick intentions. So for, let's say, like in a marathon, the last 4 or 5 miles, I'll basically offer the pain up for someone. It really helps. You know, somebody that I know that is really struggling, because it's kind of taking yourself out of the equation and putting somebody else in. So I think it helps eliminate that focus on your own physical pain. Does that make sense, Jordan? Good question. I like that question. Okay. Let's see here. I'm trying to make sure. And by the way, you can ask me anything now. It looks like the video is kind of working now, an hour later after we start. And thanks for sticking strong right now. I know, I know it was a rough night on the technical difficulty side of things, but the strong survive. So you can ask me anything about racing tactics, and sorry if I missed a few of your questions. I'm trying to scan the chat just to make sure I didn't miss any. Let's see, but yeah, continue to ask questions if you have any others. Now that the internet seems to be working a little bit. Holy guacamole. Okay. Let's see here. So Chip asked, how do I stop myself from going out too fast? Chip, slow down. No, Chip, it depends on what the race is. I don't know if you're in high school, if you're racing like a 1600, but I would say just tell yourself no matter what, in the first 10% of the race, you're going to be in 5th place. Like, no matter what. Like, you just got to tell yourself that and make the decision in the moment. No matter what, I'm going to be in 5th place. Just, that's what I would do. Good question, Chip. Sorry, if you tell me the distance, I might be able to help a little bit more. Good question. Let's see. Colin asked, do I plan on trying out the ASICS Meta Ride anytime soon? Colin, I do not plan on it. Pretty expensive, $250, and I haven't heard the best reviews on it so far. I think ASICS is trying to get back in the game. I think ASICS has been lagging behind a lot of other companies the last, 5 years, maybe 10 years. Like, I've heard it from a lot of people. Mizuno and ASICS actually have just kind of been stuck in the 90s, if you will. But sorry if there's any ASICS fans out there. Like, listen, everyone, at the end of the day, you got to wear the shoe that works best for your foot, for your gait cycle, for your stride, for what keeps you healthy. That's the most important thing. You got to stay healthy. So, listen, I'm making a little bit of a joke about ASICS and Mizuno, but I have heard quite a few people say that they're not incredibly excited about the ASICS Meta Ride. Good question from Colin, but no, I don't plan to try it. Let's see here. David asks, I have never run a marathon distance. Is it okay to train for a 50 mile? That's around a year away from now. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, David, I would recommend doing a 50K before your 50 miler. So maybe like in 6 months from now, shoot for a 50K, which is 31 miles. Yeah, I would recommend doing something. Definitely do something before the 50 miler would be my recommendation. Yeah, good question. So let's see here. Run Fast Pro okay to use instead of spikes in the 3,200 meter? Oh, I don't have the shoe out here. It's inside. Absolutely. That's from SPC Pickard. Good question. Absolutely. That shoe, like, I should have mentioned this. I don't think I did. I just ran out of time. So I published today my first impressions of the Reebok Float Ride Run Fast Pro. It's a 3-ounce shoe. It's a 6mm drop. You could absolutely use that shoe in a track race, especially a 3,200. I think in a mile race, it would be good to use spikes, like little metal spikes. But a 3,200 is just a little different, a little slower. I would love to race a 3,200 in the Reebok Float Ride Run Fast Pro. 3 ounces is incredibly lightweight. I'm going to be using that shoe for the 5K race that I'm doing in like 10 days from now. So, good question. Okay, let's see here. Rodrigo asks when to kick in a half marathon. Rodrigo, man, I would say if you can start to pick it up, not kick. A half marathon, like, you're not really going to kick, you're going to pick it up though. So I would say at mile 10. So if you can mentally say with 3 miles to go, so a 5K to go, I'm going to start to pick it up. Now it's not a kick, it's just, okay, instead of running, 7 minutes a mile, I'm going to run 6:50s per mile, and then 6:45, and then maybe the last mile you can drop it down to 6:20 or something. I don't know what paces you're going for, but that would be my thoughts on. And then, if you can kick the last 600 meters, like, that'd be great, or the last 400 meters. But anyway, I'd say I'd approach it more from the angle of picking it up rather than kicking. Good question, Rodrigo. Thank you for that. Jared asked, why do races cost so much? Jared, I have no idea. No, I mean, there's permitting, they got to hire ambulances, they got to pay for online registration stuff. Like, there's a ton of bureaucracy to put on a race these days that I get it. Like, I think races are a little too expensive, but at the same time, there are a lot of factors that go into putting on a race. T-shirts, food at the finish line. I mean, and they're running off of volunteers. So imagine if, like, the volunteers were getting paid. It would be very, very expensive. Let's see here. Jules asks, any updates on your Zoomfly fly knits? Jules, this is a great question. Basically, here's my strategy. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of you have asked what is going to be my marathon racing shoe, and it'll be hard not to race in the 4%. I'll just put it that way. But I am a big proponent of making the training pretty much I'll just say it, as difficult as possible so that I can arrive at the starting line as fit as possible. And therefore, when I put on a carbon fiber plate shoe like the 4% or like the Zoomfly fly knit, I want to put on those shoes for special days, meaning it's a special shoe. There's no other way about it. Like, those shoes are kind of changing the game a little bit at the marathon distance, especially. Like, you just look at the times for a lot of people, and times are dropping. So I don't want to train in that shoe. I will do a little training just to make sure I'm used to it, but I've already done enough running in it, really. So therefore, when I arrive at the starting line for the marathon and I start to go a little bit in that shoe, I want it to feel easy, if that makes sense. So that's a long way to answer that. I have not put on the Zoomfly fly knit for probably about 10 days because I don't want to be spoiled by the carbon fiber plate and the ZoomX foam. Or I guess that would be the React foam, but you know what I mean. Oh, man. Oh, it's exciting. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. And I can't believe the internet is finally working an hour later. So, Good evening to you, Dokut. I appreciate you being here. Okay, let's see. It is now 8:18. We've been going for a while now. Thank you for sticking around this long. I'll answer a few more questions and then we'll probably have to wrap up. Oh man, what a rough, if you're just joining us, it was a rough night. The internet has been wonky all night. It appears to be working now. Who knows? It's like, come on, people. Come on. It's 2019. It's not 1999, but you do what you can, right? Jordan asked, do I ever get cramps in my abs when I start to run? I don't, Jordan. You know what, Jordan? It might be connected to your back. Like something going on in your lower back that is causing your stomach. Like I've always heard that it's the opposite side of your body that is actually the issue. So, excuse me. So if you have cramps in your abs, maybe it's something behind your abs, like your back. Anyway, just putting that out there, but I don't have that, Jordan. So let's see here. Justin asked, do you know how to get rid of side stitches? I always get them when I run. Always? Oh, man. Well, if you get them always, there's probably something going on there. You know, you might want to talk to a doctor, frankly. Like, if you're always getting them, like, that shouldn't be happening. I mean, I always try to open my chest just to open the breathing, everything going on in there for the breathing. Yeah, Justin, sorry. I don't really get side stitches, so, but I know that they can be very painful. So, sorry I don't have more experience there, but for real, you might, if you get them all the time, you might want to talk to a doctor. So, let's see here. Colin asked thoughts on barefoot running. Colin, I think it could be beneficial on grass. And specifically like on AstroTurf that's really even. I'm not a fan of barefoot running or minimalist running. I think you can really get injured easily. Why, Colin? Because everyone over, you know, and I shouldn't say everyone, but the kids, a lot of the kids, like actually the guys in the Breaking 2 documentary who tried to break 2 hours in the marathon, I think at least two of the three guys, they grew up barefoot. That's it. They just didn't have shoes. It wasn't part of their culture. So their feet and their tendons and their ligaments and their ankles are all a well-oiled machine, so that there's the risk of injury goes way, way down. So I think if we've been brought up in shoes our entire life, you really risk injury going out and running barefoot because we're just not used to it. Now, if you can go around barefoot all the time for years and years in order to build up your strength in your feet, then, you know, we could start talking. But Colin, just so you know, we used to do strides. So, you know, like 120-meter strides where you do just a nice stride to get your turnover going. We used to do them barefoot sometimes just to work on foot strength. And yeah, so I'm not opposed to it completely. But anyway, a lot to chew on there. All right. So let's see here. Okay, good to see everyone. Okay, I'll answer maybe one more question. Will you buy a new pair of 4% or use the pair you currently have in Cleveland? That's from Anthony. Anthony, listen, I'm all about honesty here, right? We're just seeking truth here together, right, Anthony? I'll probably buy new ones. And I know that sounds crazy, like, Seth, how could you ever afford that? Well, this is my passion. I don't buy anything else. Like, I ask my wife, like, I don't buy anything else. I drive a 2002 Toyota Camry, I think it is. I drive an old car. I don't spend money on anything except for running shoes, right? You know, running shoes. So, Anthony, I will probably, and I'm hoping by then the price will be down a little bit more. So, good question. Oh, man. All right. I think that is it for tonight. Sorry. Who knows? I can't control the internet. You know, I just can't control the internet, but we'll keep fighting. And if you're still here, mark your calendars, pull out your phone right now, set a notification. April 1st, Monday, April 1st is the next running shoe giveaway. I promise you we'll do at least 10 pairs of running shoes. Some of them are brand new. Some of them are gently used running shoes, so usually under 30 miles. So we're talking nice shoes. We have an assortment of sizes in the house. A lot of shoes have arrived in the last 2 weeks. Some really nice shoes, actually. So mark your calendars right now for the next running shoe giveaway. So cool to see everyone here. Thank you for being here, and I appreciate all of you. And this YouTube channel just continues to grow, and it's exciting. The DeMoor Global Running on Strava, I think we hit 26,000, almost 27,000 miles collectively run together last week. Everybody in the DeMoor Global Running. That's incredible. So kudos to everyone there, and we'll keep striving for eliminating the technical difficulties here in the studio. Does that sound good? All right, you all are the best. Seek beauty, work hard, and love each other. We will see you tomorrow, 5 a.m.